Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and today's video is inspired by you. It is inspired by you, a champion that I had not thought to use, but a rare who actually ends up being S tier. Amazing for the Phantom Shogun's Grove. I'm going to show that to you in this video, but we actually had a random comment about Gnarlhorn on an old Provoke on Hydra video. It's sneaking in here, but yeah, on the Soulstone video, I was talking about how I got a 6-star soul for Gnarlhorn, and what was I going to do with it? And you guys were all like, yo, no, nubkeks, you need to use this champion. Gnarlhorn can be really good for the new dungeon. His A1 cannot weak hit. 6-star Gnarlhorn is insane for the Shogun Grove. Don't sell it. 6-star Gnarlhorn is very good. IMO best Shogun tank for stage 24. He can't weak hit at all. The burden to have high awakenings on the rest of your squad is lower. So yeah, tuned right, the boss can only ever raise the counter when he crits. And based on observation, the boss won't use his A4 unless his shade counter is 10 plus. 6-star Gnarlhorn might be good for Shogun Grove. Use him as an enfeeble tank. He can't weak hit. The blessing, he wipes 6 off the counter instead. He can weak hit. Well, actually, he can't. I've tested it out myself, and at least in my testing, he hasn't. Let's click go, and let's dive in. But very simply as well, this is a team I showed you before. At the time, I thought I had like the best budget version of this team using a Demitha instead of Gnarlhorn. Well, Gnarlhorn is actually better for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, here he goes in with his A1. Look at that. The thing didn't go up. It went up there by 8 because we cleansed off 4 of the enfeebles. That's okay. But reason number one that Gnarlhorn is so good, and why we're running 3 rares on this team, Gnarlhorn, War Maiden, Coldheart, rare champions are so much easier to get high awakenings on than epics, than legendaries. So much easier. And you need high awakenings to keep this Shogun counter low. This stops the boss using a whole bunch of his stuff. It reduces his chance to crit. It just makes everything work nicely. So brilliant. Rare champions for this is perfect because we can get them awakened without needing to spend literally probably thousands or tens of thousands maybe of euro like to actually get that stuff unlocked. About 1 minute and 6 seconds is my average. 1:08 this time. That's fine. Maybe a bit slower because we're recording. That's okay. But on average, and you see this is how the team works, and it works beautifully. I've had one slight issue with this, which is the speed tuning. I think I might need to drop a couple of speed off of Coldheart. Sometimes she'll go before Mithrala on the Mithrala second cleanse, and that can mess things up. But yeah, as you can see, 3 rares, because we can get them highly awakened. We've got a 2-star awakening on Mithrala, and nothing on Newt. But again, you could reorganize this if you want to. You can reorganize it if you want to. I would definitely be buying like 1, 2, whatever, 3-star, maybe even awakening on Newt. He's a high priority to get at least a little bit awakened. And you'd probably be running Brimstone on him as well. Make your Brimstone more consistent. Run it with Mithrala and with Newt. But yeah, very, very simple. So, like I said, let's go through this. The team setup here. The speeds are actually very important. And the ability order is actually very important to make all this stuff sync up properly here for stage 24. Reason we're doing stage 24 is because we're running 2 Spirit Affinity champions, and it's Magic Affinity on stage 25. So Newt in particular would not work. Again, I am not an expert on speed tuning, so someone who is better at that, into Deadwood Jedi or someone like, come in, and you could probably run different speeds, and this would work fine. The speeds are pretty high. But this is more of a concept to show you how 3 rares plus the current fusion, plus the champion you definitely get from Hydra, right? And you can do stage 24 of this boss, no problem. So Mithrala at 285 speed, she's going to priority 1 Sigil of Toxic Glory and priority 2 on the cleanse. And this will make it so that her cleanse is going to sync up perfectly every single time with the enfeeble going out on our team. With Gnarlhorn, we're going to turn off his A2 because his A1, he cannot weak hit. He can't weak hit, which means that any awakening you put on him, normally your crit damage tank, they're the person who gets targeted by enfeeble, which forces them to weak hit. But because he can't weak hit, it's great. So those awakenings on him are always going to push back the turn meter. We're going to priority 1 on Unkillable, but we're going to open with his A1. I actually did do a bunch of runs turning Determined off as well. You can run him just doing A1. if your gear is good enough. I decided not to do that for this video because I think most people will probably run him with the unkillable turned on just for safety. And you didn't really get any extra speed from doing his A1. But look, if he's super highly awakened and you're lacking awakening on other champions, you could have him just A1 every single time if he is the one you need to keep that Shogun counter down. He is at 166 speed. Cold Heart, I've actually knocked her down to 218 speed. I think maybe we need to go 1 or 2 speed lower. I think she might need to be 1 or 2 speed lower. The reason is that very rarely she will actually take a turn before Mithrala cleanses. And because her A1 is a 4 hitter, it like shoots the Shogun's turn count from like 0 to about 30 or something like that. So that can get pretty spicy. But she's at 218. Newt, he's coming in, priority 1 on Blessed Bash, 2 on Fury of the King. He does need high accuracy. And 272 speed here. Then War Maiden 274 speed. Again, high accuracy. Return off her A2. She's bringing decreased defense, and she's bringing a small chance to do a small poison as well. So pretty straightforward. Again, for my runs here, these speeds are basically essential. Again, probably Cold Heart a couple slower, but they are essential to have your ability sync up in the right spot. I throw it out to you, someone who is better at this than me out there in the community. Please come in and figure out how to make this team work with slower speeds. I would love to see that, or different speeds, whatever. So here we go. We can see Gnarlhorn. He takes a turn. No weak hit because of his pass. His A1. He hits again. No weak hit. It's great. Mithrala cleanses off the Enfeeble. We get 8 stacks on the boss, but now we start knocking it down. Pretty much no problem. So you're going to see, we're going to spend nearly the whole time at like super, super low stacks on the boss. The boss can weak hit Gnarlhorn. He's got, what is it, a 35% chance to weak hit, so it's not going to do anything. So we should be pretty good, honestly. Like you can see we're hitting the boss here, and he's just at 0 stacks, right? He's just not really doing anything. So very simple. The unkillable gives us safety. It's not needed. You're going to see like he's not died yet this run. The cleanse comes out, beautiful. And excuse me, I've got a cough. We're good to go. Blessed Bash. So what makes this a bit slower is, again, the speed tune. War Maiden puts the decreased defense, but it falls off sometimes by the time we come around to that Blessed Bash. So that's something that could be speed tuned up and just make it a bit more consistent. Yeah, because we got the decrease attack from Newt, it really makes this boss like a non-issue. So it's 118 if we don't have the decreased defense from War Maiden, go 3 turns and apply to the Blessed Bash from Newt. Yeah, there you are. Very simple team, right? Very simple, very straightforward, super accessible in terms of champions, and super accessible in terms of the rares and getting high awakenings. Very, very easy to do. I think even Gnarlhorn and War Maiden, they both come from campaign. Maybe just War Maiden does. There's someone that looks like Gnarlhorn that does. But yeah, simple, effective. Let me show you the builds on these champions just so you can see the specific build. So Mithrala, her build doesn't super matter. But yeah, again, it's just about the stats, right? Now, her stats do matter a bit because her HP is going to affect the size of the shield, which will help Gnarlhorn to stay alive. So that's something you might want to consider. For her masteries, I have her set up like this. So again, this is a little bit awkward perhaps. But I do think running her into War Master is a good idea. But you could come in and you could, yeah, actually, we should take this up the shield value. That's an obvious one. One thing you cannot do, you cannot take anything that's going to affect turn meter. So do not take turn meter affecting things. We could take some healing. We could give her Evil Eye. Again, we don't want to take Cycle of Magic. That would throw things off. And I don't know, I guess we could give her Spirit Haste if someone dies. It's not going to happen. So we could give her that. There we go. For Newt, he is coming in. I have him very, very high speed and 247% crit damage and high accuracy. So this is very gear intensive. To actually set him up like this. Again, this is why I'm thinking you could probably make this work with lower speeds and it'd be easier. And same thing with Mithrala, she's very high speed, so you can make it easier, you know? But basically the idea with this Newt is, look, Fire Knight hard stage 10, which is the ultimate goal with Newt, is 250 speed. So he's gonna need to be above 2. He's gonna need to be fast. And then he's got enough accuracy with the Mithrala aura to be successful here against the boss. And yeah, very simple. He's going to come in. He's got Giant Slayer, and he is extending his debuffs as well. Again, you just don't want anything that is going to affect turn meter. For Gnarlhorn, He's coming in. We've actually given him War Master. If you want, you can totally give him Flawless Execution. I tested it out. Works totally fine. Give you an extra 20% crit damage. He needs to just have higher crit damage than everybody else on the team. Give him a bit more damage when he's lower on life. And yeah, for his Awakening, I gave him Phantom Touch. It gives you extra crit damage, and it's going to give you a bit of extra bonus damage as well. Look, why not? It's going to synergize all very nicely with Life Drinker, give him an extra bit of survivability. And I actually have him running in 3 crit damage sets. And yeah, he's coming out at 295% crit damage, and I don't even have a crit damage necklace on him. But that's definitely something you could do, and you could ascend that necklace with crit damage if you needed. He just needs to be the highest crit damage in your team, just 1% ahead of everybody else. So I think in this team, like Coldheart is 253. She's the highest. So he could be 254, right? But I have him even higher just to show you it's possible. He has 55k HP, 3.1k defense, and again, the 166 speed for this speed tune is very important, though hopefully someone can figure out a different one. We've got Coldheart. Actually, her masteries are not finished, funny enough. But fairly standard stuff. She's coming in with Flawless Execution. Actually, for this, Giant Slayer would be better to get that extra max HP hit. I actually didn't notice that she had Flawless Execution. That's slightly my bad, but Giant Slayer would be the way to go. Again, you just need to make sure she does not have Arcane Celerity. Cycle of Magic would be fine on her, but nothing to affect that turn meter. And then same thing over here. We've got War Maiden with War Master. Her masteries don't really matter. She's an old masteries that are dumb, and it doesn't really matter, right? Very simple. She just needs enough accuracy, and then again the speed to fit in with the speed tune. And by the way, they're all running with Phantom Touch just for a bit of extra damage. Like the other champions never actually get hit. We were running Demitha in there before, who is at 166. I don't know exactly why. Maybe I had like a different decimal or something. But when I put Gnarlhorn into the team at 166, because remember there are hidden decimal points in speed. I actually found, for whatever reason, that Coldheart was outspeeding Mithrala every single time. So I reduced Coldheart from 220 to 218, and then it's working nearly every single time. They haven't failed a run. It's working nearly every single time. But I did notice that she outsped Mithrala on like a couple of the runs. So you might want to knock it down to like 217, try it, 216. I'm not a speed tune expert. It's one of those things where just changing like a speed by 1 point can completely change how abilities line up. But look, this one works. So, or at least it works nearly all the time. Let's put it like that. Thank you for watching. There you go. Gnarlhorn, the hidden MVP. Just an absolutely amazing champ. Cannot weak hit, and then he's got 2 turns unkillable on a 3-turn cooldown as well to help him survive if your defensive stats aren't quite up to par. Simple, straightforward, 3 rares and a fusion and Mithrala. Boom. Phantom Shogun on stage 24, about a 1 minute 10 second farm roughly. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.